For my photo voice project, I selected the community that I know best, the community I work in and educate in, the Flight Ops Directorate at the Johnson Space Center. Flight Ops is a created culture that arose out of components thrown together in the 1960s to accomplish the goal of manned spaceflight. It is a mix of military, engineering, science, nerd, and bureaucrat subcultures, and even today, that resulting new culture survives and perpetuates itself by frequently referring back to touchstones from the past. Each new member of the FOD community gets to walk past rockets that launched men to the moon, gets to go to the historical Apollo mission control room and sit at the consoles of those who have gone before, and most importantly, hear the stories of FOD's greatest successes and worst failures. They hear from legendary flight controller John Aaron and the Apollo 12 flight director Jerry Griffin how Aaron's split-second call of set SCE to aux saved a rocket struck by lightning. They also hear the stories of Apollo 1, Challenger, and Columbia, told by instructors who actually trained those astronauts, only to see them die, and die primarily due to failures in our safety culture. These stories, the good and the bad, are told for a purpose. It is how we first start to try to create a sense of community. It's how we energize that community to adopt and hold dear principles important to both pride and caution. The generations change and now come from different social, cultural, and ethnic backgrounds from the founders. The white and male, steely-eyed missile men have given way to a more multi-gender, multicultural community. But the ultimate responsibilities of crew and mission safety have not changed, and certain cultural elements have to be grown within newcomers. The foundations of flight operations are voiced again and again, like a pledge of allegiance, and controllers looking to become full members of the community must meet performance criteria that rest as much on cultural practice as they do on technical knowledge. Through this and other practices, we succeed and grow as a community. We collaborate, we innovate, and we communicate. We are preoccupied with failure, but we also promote flexibility and resilience. And that community uses recurring rituals to remind us that our lives ultimately support the lives and health of people like us, but who are living one mistake away from a harsh and unforgiving environment. But that created culture has to be tended and adjusted as the missions and the operational environment change. To help us meet those challenges, we look to other communities with a similar stress on safety and reliability, like the South Texas Nuclear Plant and the U.S. Satellite Command, and we engage in exchanges with them, sharing stories and experiences and trying to learn from one another. Relationships, assets, stories, and place are all key elements in these exchanges, as in the RASPA model, and these sessions have some of the same goals as community learning exchanges. In a sense, Flight Ops is well placed to host these exchanges because we have unique assets, a unique place, and above all, we have grand stories. Vivid stories allow us to speak of our community, both to other communities and to ourselves. To go from inaction to action first takes a will to do so, and what can kindle a desire to be different, do better, and reach farther than a story. As a community, we use our stories to look forward, backward, and outward, learning and teaching how to better balance pride and caution. And always we look at ourselves, within ourselves, to make sure we stay on a good track, both as a culture and as a community.